Hello and welcome back. In this video we'll be taking a look at my first race with OOR in the rookie category. The season I'm currently competing in started in late 2020 and is now continuing on into 2021. So let's take a look at round 7 at Misano. Just before we do that though, I would urge you to go and follow me over on Twitter to stay informed of new and upcoming content and receive notifications for when I go live over on Twitch. So go over there and give me a follow on Twitch, and I'll be streaming some exclusive content over there, stuff that won't be making it over to YouTube, so I'd highly recommend it. Lastly, if you do enjoy today's video, if you could give it a like, I would really appreciate it. I've also noticed the comment section has been lacking some attention, so if you have any advice or tips of fuel saving, pop them down below. Let's get on with the video. Qualification went okay. I put in a time that was rather respectable for my pace at the time, around a 1 minute 40. With my pace consistently being around 1:39s, I was okay with this result. I'll be starting 13th on the grid. Being no stranger to starting at the back, I was well prepared for this one. I was also very keen to make up some spots in the first few turns. The lights went out and I got a rather nice start, getting the run on the two cars around me, allowing me to make up 2 positions into turn 1. Into turn 2 I had to back off a bit, space was becoming a bit of a problem. During the end of turn 3 I slotted in behind the Mercedes of Moss when I noticed a great opportunity into turn 4. I pulled out from behind Moss and went for it. Not able to pull off the double overtake, I noticed the gap closing and I literally slammed my brakes to avoid contact. Unfortunately there was a slight nudge. With that, the GT3 snake was well underway as we formed a neat single file line across the track for the remainder of lap 1. I was not about to let the Porsche get away though, but nothing would prepare me for what happened next. I would soon be reminded why this is the rookie split. Moving into the first fast sequence of corners, the inexperience of the Porsche driver ahead would show as he brakes very hard into the corner. Myself being able to carry much more speed through this section, I was caught off guard and taking evasive action. Luckily there was no contact. I rejoined the track and the race was back on. With that, the first lap was done and dusted. For the next few laps I was unable to pass the Porsche, and on lap 5 I would elect to stay out as he pitted, thinking that I could make up some lost time. Unfortunately this time my lack of confidence and nerves would show as I made some mistakes during my next lap. With that I decided to pit at the end of lap 6. As I entered the pit lane, I for the first time during the race questioned if I had enough fuel. Thinking back to my calculations and reminding myself that I had made allowances for additional fuel, also having overfueled rather generously in the past, I thought that I would be fine. I then proceeded to only swap the tyres. With the pit stop requirements for the race fulfilled, it was time to get my head down and race. Around the 18 lap mark, Moss had begun to appear in my mirror again, and slowly he was closing the gap. It was about this time that my fuel load was beginning to bother me again. For the next few laps I recalculated the fuel in my head against the time remaining when I realized 2 things. The fuel would only last exactly to the end of the time remaining, and that my lap times had been so much faster that my fuel per lap used went from 2.25 liters per lap to 2.66 liters a lap. So I ate through the contingency fuel as well. With the McLaren of Dodge joining Moss and I, who was frantically flicking between mode 1 and 4 for fuel saving while getting on the nerves of Moss for heavy lifting and coasting the last 5 laps, I naively hoped that they would do battle, allowing me to get on with my fuel saving. Unfortunately not. Dodge and the McLaren was not able to put enough pressure on Moss, and my much slower pace did not help either. But it was not until the last minute that I was truly doomed. Running out of fuel on the overtime lap, It would be an understatement to say that this race was both a paradox. I was utterly heartbroken at the final result, losing any chance of a P8 finish at my first race of the OOR, while at the same time having enjoyed the race so much. This race has most definitely been the most fun and competitive race I have had. Lastly, I would like to thank Dodge for supplying me with the replay after I forgot to save mine. A big congratulations to the only other Ferrari on the grid, driven by Robert Shaw, for taking the win. Thank you for watching. Until next time, cheers.